Dogs are undeniably cute, but let's be honest, they do some things that leave us completely scratching our heads. Like, why do they suddenly decide the lawn is a salad bar? Is it sickness or just a weird craving? And we have to talk about the elephant in the room, or rather the nose in the rear end. Why the obsession with sniffing butts? Is it just bad manners, or is there a secret code involved? In this video, we are going to decode these bizarre habits. By the end, you won't just tolerate these quirks. You'll understand the secret language behind them. Now, let's start with a behavior that looks like a morning yoga routine, but actually means so much more about how they feel about you. Number one is the greeting stretch. You know the move. You walk through the door after a long day at work, or maybe you just walk downstairs in the morning and your dog trots up to you and immediately goes into a deep stretch. Front paws forward, rear end up in the air, holding the pose for a solid few seconds. It's easy to think, oh, they just woke up. They're just stretching out a stiff back. And while physically, yes, it does loosen up their muscles behaviorally, this is a massive compliment. In the canine world, this is often referred to as a play bow or a greeting bow. When a dog does this specifically upon seeing you, it is a sign of vulnerability and comfort. They are exposing their neck and putting themselves in a subordinate position to say, "Hello, I am safe, and I am happy you are here." It's an invitation. They are asking if you are ready to engage, ready to connect. If you watch closely, you'll see this isn't the same stretch they do when they get off their bed alone. This one usually comes with a wagging tail, bright eyes, and maybe a little happy huff of breath. It is their way of saying, "I missed you, and I am ready for whatever we do next." It's pure love expressed through geometry. And speaking of love, and offering things that leads us directly into our second point, which is one of the most heartwarming quirks in the dog world, the gift giver. This is when your pup brings you a toy, a bone, or sometimes a dirty sock, even when you didn't ask to play fetch. You are sitting on the couch, minding your own business, and suddenly, a slobbery plush squeaker is dropped into your lap. Why do they do this? Well, we have to look back at their ancestry. In the wild wolves and wild dogs bring food and resources back to the pack leader or to the den. It's a way of sharing the wealth. It is a survival mechanism that ensures the pack stays strong. Your domesticated pup doesn't need to hunt for you, but that instinct to share resources is still hardwired into their DNA. When they bring you their favorite destroyed teddy bear, they are showing you that they value you. They are saying, "This is precious to me, and because you are my family, I want you to have it too." Sometimes it's also a little bit of a flex. Have you ever noticed they bring the toy, but then won't let you take it? They play a game of keep away. That's them showing off. It's like a child bringing a drawing to a parent. They want you to look at it, admire it, and tell them they are a good boy or girl. So even if you are busy, or even if the toy is gross, take a second to acknowledge the gift. A simple, "good job" validates their role in your family pack. Now, while bringing toys is a way they engage with us, sometimes they do something incredibly cute just to understand us better. This brings us to a new point, number 3, the head tilt. Is there anything cuter than when you speak to your dog in a funny voice, and they cock their head to the side like a curious toddler? It melts our hearts every time, but it serves a very practical function. Dogs have incredible hearing, but they have a harder time locating the precise source of a sound compared to humans. By tilting their head, they are adjusting their outer ears, the pinnae, to better triangulate where the sound is coming from and to filter out background noise. They are literally tuning their antennas to your frequency. But there is also a visual component. Dogs have muzzles that can obstruct their view. Stanley Coren, a famous dog psychologist, suggests that dogs tilt their heads to see our mouths better. They are trying to read our facial expressions and lip movements to understand our emotional state. So when they tilt their head, they are giving you their undivided attention, trying to empathize with whatever you are saying. It's a sign of high emotional intelligence and a desire to connect. But as smart as they are sometimes, their dietary choices make us question their intelligence. This leads us to number 4, eating grass. It's a classic scenario. You're on a walk, and suddenly your dog turns into a cow grazing on the lawn. The old myth says, "Oh, they must be sick. They are trying to make themselves throw up." And while that can be true, research from the University of California, Davis actually found that fewer than 10% of dogs exhibit signs of illness before eating grass, and even fewer actually vomit afterward. So if they aren't sick, what gives? For many dogs, it's simply about the taste and texture. Fresh spring grass has a sweetness to it that many dogs enjoy. It's a salad. For others, it might be a way to add fiber to their diet if they are feeling a little backed up. And deep down, it's an ancestral trait. Wild canines would eat the stomach contents of their prey, which were often filled with plant matter. So grazing is a natural scavenger behavior. Unless they are doing it obsessively, or the grass has been treated with pesticides, let them have their little snack. It's usually boredom or a diverse palate, not a medical emergency. Now, sometimes that boredom turns into a sudden explosion of energy, which brings us to number 5, the zoomies. You know the look. The eyes go wide, the butt tucks underneath them, and they take off like a rocket running circles around the coffee table or sprinting across the yard like they are being chased by invisible ghosts. This is technically called FRAPs, frenetic random activity periods. To the untrained eye, it looks like the dog has lost its mind. But the zoomies are actually a sign of a happy, healthy dog. It is a release of pent-up energy. Maybe they've been crated for a few hours, or maybe they just had a bath post. Bath zoomies are very common because they are relieved the torture is over. It's a way to shake off stress, or just celebrate being alive. It's a euphoric rush. The best thing you can do is just stand back and let it happen. It usually only lasts a minute or two, and when they crash hard. It's a pure, unfiltered expression of joy. When they finally calm down, you might notice them doing something that feels very intense. Number 6 is the stare. Have you ever been watching TV or reading a book and you feel eyes on you? You look up and your dog is just sitting there, staring deep into your soul. It's not creepy. It's chemical. When a dog locks eyes with a human, they trust their brain releases oxytocin. This is the same love hormone that bonds a mother to her infant. A study from Eötvös Loránd University in Hungary confirmed that this mutual gazing creates a feedback loop of affection. They aren't staring to be aggressive, which is what staring means between two dogs. They are staring to hug you with their eyes. They are checking in on your emotional state, reading your micro-expressions, and simply enjoying your presence. Of course, sometimes they are just staring because you are eating a sandwich. But if there is no food involved, take it as a silent, I love you. Now let's move from the living room to the backyard for a behavior that is puzzling to anyone who has ever walked a dog in a hurry. Number 7, the spin cycle before pooping. You want them to just go, but they have to circle 3, 4, 5 times before they can commit to a spot. Why are they trampling down grass, checking for snakes? Partially, yes. In the wild trampling, the grass creates a clean, flat surface and drives away bugs. But there is a weirder scientific reason. A team of scientists actually studied thousands of dogs. Defecating science is glamorous, right? And found that dogs prefer to align their bodies with the north-south axis of the Earth's magnetic field when they relieve themselves. They are literally calibrating their internal compass. They will avoid facing east or west if they can help it. So when they are spinning, they aren't just being picky. They are trying to align with the planet. It sounds crazy, but it's true. So give them a minute. They are doing geophysics. Speaking of alignment and rear ends, we have arrived at the one you have been waiting for. The most awkward, yet most misunderstood behavior of all. Number 8. Why do dogs insist on sniffing your butt? We laugh about it. We get embarrassed when they do it to our guests. But to a dog, this is just good manners. It's a handshake. Here is the science. Dogs have a specialized organ called the Jacobson's organ, located inside the nasal cavity, which allows them to process chemical information that we can't even fathom. Humans and other dogs have apocrine sweat glands. In humans, these are concentrated in the armpits, and yes, the groin area. These glands release pheromones that tell a story. When a dog sniffs you there, they aren't being gross. They are reading your biography. They can tell your gender, what you ate recently, your mood, and even if you are sick. They can smell stress hormones or changes in your blood sugar. It is a data download. When they do it to other dogs, it's a way of checking status and health. When they do it to you, they are just trying to get a status update on their favorite human. How are you? Where have you been? Are you stressed? It's their way of showing they care enough to check your vitals. So while you should probably train them not to do it to strangers, try to understand that it comes from a place of curiosity, not rudeness. Now that we've covered the nose, let's talk about the mouth. Number 9 is nibbling or cobbing. Does your dog ever use their front teeth to gently nibble on your arm or your sleeve? It feels like little corn on the cob bites. It tickles, and sometimes it can pinch a little, but it's not a bite. This is a behavior rooted in puppyhood. Puppies nibble their littermates and their mothers as a form of grooming and bonding. It's affectionate. When an adult dog does this to you, it is often a sign of intense affection or excitement. They are grooming you. They are trying to take care of you. However, it can also be a sign of overstimulation. If they are nibbling frantically, they might be anxious or have too much energy. But generally, if the body is wiggly and soft, that little nibble is a love bite. They're treating you like a fellow puppy, which is a high honor. From the arm, we move down to the feet. Number 10, licking your feet. This is one that tickles and drives some people crazy. You take your socks off, and your dog is there ready to bathe your toes. Why? Well, there are a few layers to this. First, as we mentioned with the butt-sniffing dogs, love strong scents. Your feet after a long day in shoes are packed with salty sweat and pheromones. To a dog, that saltiness is tasty. It's like a savory snack. But beyond the taste, licking is a submissive, comforting behavior. Lower-ranking pack members lick higher-ranking members to show respect and ask for acceptance. By licking your feet, they are acknowledging you as the provider and the leader. It also releases endorphins in their brain, so it soothes them. If you can handle the tickle, it's basically a free, albeit slobbery, foot spa. Finally, we have to address a behavior that looks funny, but is usually a cry for help. Number 11. Scooting. You've seen it. The dog sits down and drags their rear end across the carpet or the grass. We often make jokes about it, but this is rarely a behavioral quirk. It is almost always a medical issue. According to veterinary experts, this is the universal sign of an irritating itch they can't scratch. The most common culprit is full or impacted anal glands. These are small sacs on either side of their rear that usually empty naturally, but when they get clogged, it is incredibly uncomfortable. They scoot to try and relieve that pressure. It could also be allergies, or in some cases parasites, like tapeworms. If you see your dog doing the carpet shark, don't punish them and don't just laugh. Check under the tail. They are in discomfort and they need your help, likely a trip to the vet to get things expressed. It's gross, but fixing it is part of the deal of loving a dog. Understanding these strange behaviors changes everything. It shifts our perspective from, why is my dog being weird, to, oh, my dog is communicating with me. They are navigating a human world with wolf instincts doing their best to tell us they love us, they respect us, and sometimes that their butt itches. They act this way because they feel safe enough with you to be their true goofy selves. And that is a beautiful thing. They give us so much joy, so much laughter, and so much unconditional love, even when they are stealing our socks or eating the lawn. I want to take a moment to honor that connection. I want you to go to the comments section right now and type your dog's name. Whether they are currently sleeping at your feet or whether they are waiting for you at the Rainbow Bridge, let's fill the comments with the names of the dogs who have made our lives better. Tell us their name and the weirdest thing they do. Let's celebrate them today. Thank you for watching, and give your weird, wonderful pup a hug from us.